the adoption of a resolution approving the execution of the Rural Secondary Fund Supplemental Agreement Number 1 with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet that amends the June 26, 2017 contract.
Right.
You get a copy of that?
I need a motion.
You made the motion, didn't you?
I made the motion.
Motion. And I was just explaining the motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Who got the second? Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Fiscal?
Yes. Approval for assignment, summation, and consent agreement for the Douglas Tower, Carl D. Perkins apartment buildings. Herbie, could you explain this?
Yes, well, that's just what it says is the approval, and it's just a ordinary business thing. I've looked it over, and I don't think there was anything wrong. We're not
All right.
going to be in any way putting liability or what have you. It's a common thing to do.
Okay.
Is
I
this
need a
any
motion
different
for
than the one
approval.
we had with them? There's no,
I don't know what, I mean, that you had with who? I mean,
with them, is this a first-time agreement with them, or is this just,
I think it is.
Okay, what it is I think from the beginning, they had a organization that was managing the apartments, and that organization has actually sold their interest. I mean, they're not going to be doing, somebody else has taken that building, and they want us to sign the lease,
All right.
the agreement, to the new company.
Forest City Dillon or Forest City High Rise used to be the one who sent us the rent for it. Now it's Rose Community something that sends us the
Yeah.
lease on it. So I'm sure it's just in the,
It's just
It's
that
the
we
same
own
rent.
the,
It's
yeah, we own
same
the
rent.
property.
Yes.
We're not cutting back the rent or anything. It's the same.
No, it's $433.33 a month. We still get our rent. They just, a different person will be managing the complex.
All right. I need a motion for approval.
Motion.
second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Fiscal?
Yes. All right. Approval for the Corps of Engineers 202 floodproofing program and authorization for the county judge executive to execute all documents. Herbie?
Well, I'll yield to Jimmy Kaiser on this. He's been working, and he can explain it, the program and how they choose the site and what criteria that it's made of.
They,
This is a $3 million, as I understand it.
yes, they used to do a 202 project. It's a floodproofing project on the Tug Fork. They've got the main stem done, and they had started on the tributaries, and they had actually stopped the program back in 2006. And Congressman Rogers has put money back into the 202 projects to get it started back up. So now they're up on the tributaries of the Tug Fork, and they're starting the 202 project back up. Is what they're doing. And this, we have to do a agreement with them because they do everything in our name, is what it is.
Jim, is that a continuation from the Freeburn area into the Virginia
Yeah.
line?
Yeah, they
All
just,
up through Knox Creek and stop over?
yeah, they'll go on Peter Creek, Blackberry. I don't know if Blackberry's included. I think the 77 flood, it didn't affect up Blackberry, but it's just a continuation of what they've been doing for the last 20, 25 years.
Or where are they gonna start at? Which, over on the Tug Fork or on the Peter Creek?
The Tug Fork's done. The main stem's done. They'll
I
just
thought it was an extension from where they stopped at Freeburn into Virginia line. It's not, that's not included?
No, it's just the tributaries. That'll be Knox Creek, Blackberry, Peter Creek, know if there's another one or not, but it's the tributaries of the Tug Fork's what it is. It's the
Well, you
same
know, they
project.
stopped there at Freeburn in the last phase.
Yeah,
And then the people over in the stopover Argo area wasn't included.
yeah,
Is that the tributary going into the Tug Fork
Yeah.
from Knox Creek?
Yeah, Knox Creek's a tributary to the Tug Fork, so they'll go up Knox Creek.
So they'll be included in the floodproof.
Yeah, they've already started, I think they've got a contract with, one of the fire departments there on Feeder Creek. And I think he's gonna, deal with the library. And it's just now getting started back, so there'll be a lot of people they'll be getting in touch with here.
Well, the talk was that, I've not talked to them, maybe you have, that they were gonna floodproof the Phelps Fire Department and the Phelps Library. So y'all have already met and agreed on that?
Yeah, they've done met, I think, with the Phelps Fire Department, and come to an agreement on that. And I'm not sure about the library. They've not said anything to me yet, but I know the library was in, Hitton and the fire department were the two that they were gonna try to get started on first. They're trying to hurry and get it implemented and get it started so they get the more funding, this is the funding here now.
So you need a motion,
I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and get started with it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Barney,
Yes.
Judge Diskin.
Yes. Approval for a EDA assistance application and a KPEGG application for a Pike County strategic broadband plan and authorization for the county judge executive to execute all documents. Herbie?
You know, I talked with the people yesterday, and this is a plan to put broadband into Pike County and all areas of Pike County, especially over in your area, Hillman.
Well, we need it. We're isolated.
We sure do. And this is, he explained to me that this is like putting in a 4-lane highway, and compared to what we have now is a 2-lane muddy road. That this broadband is there for people that's gonna go out and grab onto it and implement it. He was very persuasive in his argument. It doesn't cost us anything, and I would suggest that we go ahead with the program and file these applications. Now, we have to get a grant. We have to get a grant and then something else. Sandy knows something about this, I think. No. But we have to file a grant, and then we have to ask for some money to match it. And the county right now won't be out anything.
Herbie, is that to take it into the city of Pikeville or to expand it all the way through the
But
county?
this is not for the city of Pikeville, it's for the outstanding areas of
Right.
Pikeville. Now, Pikeville will be connected up to it through a connection of all 120 counties that's going to be connected. And then this is like the spider web effect from those, I think he called it an area of population or whatever. But all 120 counties are going to be hooked up at their county seat. And this is getting ahead of other counties and other rural areas and getting broadband to the rural areas in the county. Pikeville's going to get it, but this will be a step forward in trying to get it in places like over in Majestic, Freeburn, Belfry, and those places that are outliers in the county.
All right, I need a motion for approval.
Sandy, you got something? to add to it? Or?
Yeah, go, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sandy.
Sorry, I didn't see you, honey.
Stand up, Sandy.
I have something I could say, but I won't.
I'm sorry, Sandy, I got carried away explaining.
That's perfectly all right. We're just asking that the court approve the application of grants to Economic Development Administration and to Kentucky Power. The total amount of the grants will be $85,000, and as you said, that would be to get someone to do a very, very preliminary study and a plan to show how Pike County can move forward in this world of broadband. And as Mr. Deskin said, the state is doing a portion of that on what they call the first leg of that, and they're going to take it out to a lot of the state entities, and they will pay for that. But we're trying to promote that people are able to work in their homes, and in order to do that, we have to have broadband, because that's the biggest barrier we have, and with some of the isolated areas that we have, that's the only way we're going to be able to move into this world. So this is just the first step toward doing that, and it will allow the county to do an assessment and look at what is the best way possible to move forward in this world. And let me go ahead and say that this whole process is not going to be quick. It's going to take time to do it. Once they get that backbone in, which is the part that the state is and the federal government's paying for, then it's going to be up to the local areas to get that out into the communities. And that's the part that this grant will allow. It will allow you to do a plan to show you how to move forward with that. And like I said, it will take time for the whole process to work, but if we don't start now, then we're going to be passed up. And as Herbie said, it's kind of like a highway. You know, we were isolated for years because we didn't have good highways. Now we have good highways, and now we need to move into this age of technology, and this is where this will take us. But it is allowing us to submit on behalf of the county 2 grants to start this process.
I think we need a motion.
So you need a motion?
I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. Roll call, please. Thank you, honey.
Thanks, Sandy.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskin.
Yes. All right, approval of appointments to the Pike County Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau. Herbie?
This is, comes through the tourism appointments, and, yeah, I don't have it in my booklet here. And it's the appointment for the Pike County Tourism Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the nominations by the different people in this bureau are Debbie Lawson of the Landmark Inn, Teresa Duncan of Holiday Inn Express, and Deborah Huffman, a reappointment.
Herbie, is that the tourism board for the county or the city? Sound like all 3 of those are in the city there, and I just wondered if we've got any appointments out in the county.
The old tourism board, when they were combined, I think required so many of them live in the city, but I don't remember anything. They're separate now.
I know we got a lot of stuff going on out in the county, and I just wondered if we need to try to get somebody in the county out in the surrounding areas to get on this tourism board. We got a lot going on with it.
Mr. Scott's on it over there.
Who?
Mr. Scott, what's his name over at Belfry's on? Yeah,
Who?
he's on it.
Okay,
Yeah, Bob. I
Like
couldn't spell, those big names are hard to remember there for you.
The way these
Bob
appointments
Scott,
are,
yeah.
Hillman, is the county has two, and we appointed ours last court meeting. And then okay, and then your hotel motel association gives us three, gives the tourism commission three to choose from. And that's where you get the two ladies there. And then the restaurant association submitted three names, and that's where you get Debbie.
Jackie, did your motel submit one? Your motel?
Yes, the deal is the hotel and restaurant organizations, we don't have a lot of those out in the county, so they have to come within the city because that's where the hotels and restaurants are.
We got hotels out in the county.
We got the one at Belfry sued right now for not turning
Jack
on
and
their
Dawes got
sales
one.
tax, their occupational tax.
I just asking a question. I don't need to, I'm not jumping on nobody, and I just want to know where these appointments were in the city or the county. And I know we got Bob Scott out in the county. He's one.
Oh, these are actually if I'm following you right, Jenny, these are the three appointments that actually are required from the city. Is that?
They're not from the city at all. It has nothing to do with the city. This is the Hotel Motel Association and the Restaurant Association. They submit the names, and then we choose from those.
All right. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Daskins.
Yes. Approval of appointments to the Pike County Cooperative Extension District Board. Herbie, you have any?
Yeah, well, you have I think, a letter in your packet that explains this. It's on UK head notes, and it's the Pike County Extension Council recently met and nominated members for the Cooperative Extension District Board. Below are the names of the 5 nominees for the 2 upcoming vacancies for the Pike County Extension Board, or Extension District Board. Jerry Collins, Eddie Coleman, Johnny Fleming, Billy Heiss, and Robert Murphy. Please select 2 names from this list and give us official notice as soon as possible. Their terms will begin January 1st, 2018. Now, if you're not familiar with this, we could postpone this until the next meeting and let you have a chance to look it over, but I think Jody Collins and Eddie Coleman, they are 2 pretty good nominees, and if we have any discussion on it, I'll gladly entertain it.
Hillman said he's afraid to say anything.
Okay.
I guess I need a motion for approval.
Approval now of Joey Coleman and Eddie Coleman and
Yeah.
Joey Collins.
All right.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yeah.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Daskins.
Yes.
Because those others are going to be.
Turn it over to me. Joe, the treasurer, just,
Do what?
she needs to go, the treasurer needs to go, she's got to go up to the college.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, what we'll do is do that
Go to
right
the
now.
Treasury Report. We'll skip on the agenda to go to on the Treasury Report, in that Treasurer has a very important meeting concerning the purchase of county.
Zonda, would you go ahead?
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
I passed out to you all a good acknowledgement for the Pike County Sheriff's settlement statement for the 2016 unmined coal taxes that were collected from May 1, 2017 through October 18th, 2017.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated November 20th, 2017, and any other utility and telephone bills that are received before the checks are run.
Motion.
Need a second. Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the sheriff's and the clerk's 2550 reports for October 2017.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
There is a request for payment been sent in to the Department for Local Government in the amount of $200,000 on the CDBG project for the Elkhorn City Schools CDBG draw request number 3. It says that the funds are going to be direct deposited on November 30th, and due to the time restraints of having just so many days to get the check issued, I would like authorization that when we do receive the money, we be able to issue the check after it's received.
That's just pass-through money, right?
Correct.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
She finished?
Yes, she's done. Yeah.
All right, go back there. All right. Status update on RCC Big Show litigation.
Judge, I'd ask that be put on the agenda. I was just, had mentioned, I think the last meeting, we're trying to figure out if they were supposed to bring some money, and maybe, I don't know if they have, and trying to figure out if we need to go ahead and pursue I don't know if there's, is anybody here from Big Show, RCC Big Show?
We have, not from Big Show, but we have a representative, I think, from he'll identify himself. I just met him minutes ago concerning some progress there, Magistrate Anderson. He is asked to speak to
Here's your copy
tell
back
what,
for you to put with those.
what progress that they have made and where these are the, introduce yourself and.
Sure. Thank you for allowing me the time. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm the business manager of the Tri-State Building and Construction Trades Council. And we're an umbrella group of construction unions. And we've been involved with this project at least 2 years. And of course, we have confidentiality agreements, but I'll reveal what I can think that I'm allowed to reveal. But I've been with in either a telephone conversation or an email communication on this project for at least the last year and a half, almost every week. And, you know, I know that the county has invested money into the project, and there's a very lucrative amount of interest to be made on it. And I believe that the project has progressed very, very much in the last 2 months at that. As far as the outtake, which is the product that they're going to produce, they've got a commitment from a major company to purchase all the outtake. And that's a big thing when you're trying to finance a project. And you know, this Building Trades Council covers 33 counties in 3 states, and 17 of them's here in eastern Kentucky. And, you know, one thing that we have accomplished here in the last month is they signed a memorandum of understanding with the building trades unions that we're going to be the people that represent the construction workers on the job. Now, this is about a 2-year project, so over $300 million worth of work here. And you know, it's our intention not to be bringing people in from outside the area to work here. You know, we have members that live right in this county, and it's a very piping intense project. There's a lot of piping. It's no different than Marathon Refinery in Catlettsburg. It's something, or the Mark West facility there at Langley. And so with me today, I brought the business manager of the Pipe Fitters Union and his training director, and they want to commit to utilizing as many local people as possible. And I want to do that as trade-wise across the trades. You know, we've got a $1.4 million aluminum mill to build near Ashland, Kentucky. And that's going to take up a large amount of our workforce, and we're going to probably end up having to recruit people. And how we want to do that is honorable discharge veterans, of course, get preference. And somehow we need to work with the local people in this community to try to get local people to build this facility. Now, once you're a member of a construction trade, you have a career for life. I mean, you've got a passport that's going to be in your pocket that you can go anywhere in the United States and earn a good living and with health care and benefits. But this project alone, you know, they've got phase 2 and phase 3 on the drawing books, and we could have a construction project in this region that could last close to 5 to 6 years worth of work here. And then there's maintenance jobs that will be done by contractors and utilize some of these people also. I mean, but I'm just here to ask you to hold off on any litigation, at least until the end of February. You have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. And it just makes very good sense for this region to try to produce 500 construction jobs. I mean, that's a great thing. These are very well-paid jobs, and I've got a memorandum of understanding this thing goes forward. And I believe that the financing has progressed very well on the project.
Mark, let me interrupt you real quick. I won't speak for the whole court, but I think we're all in favor of the jobs, and we want to see this project, you know, come to fruition. A couple of problems I had with it personally, you know, the project got moved to Floyd County.
I understand that.
Without a vote of the court, and you know, I read the article in the newspaper one morning, and that's what it said, that we had moved this project from Pike County to Floyd County. Well, obviously that never happened. The second issue, and maybe the most important one, is you know, where's the money? You know, you have to keep in mind that this court, I won't bore you with all the details, but we've had a lot of projects. A lot of them just so happened to be in my magisterial district. You know, we had the airline service that was going to be the savior of this area, and it went belly up. You know, a lot of tax dollars got wasted. You know, so you have to understand we get a little skeptical at times when we invest these tax dollars, public tax dollars, into these projects, and we want to see it happen. And and they were supposed to be giving us updates periodically, I think maybe even monthly, and we requested time and time again what was going on, and we never got any answers, which doesn't help the cause, as I'm sure you would most likely agree.
I agree with you 100%. You're using public monies here, and you got to justify the expense.
And we keep on.
And at the same time, I deal with all kind of development projects, and some of them are snake oil salesmen, but this is one project that I believe in,
Well, you know, I believe in it too, and I want to believe in it, but there has to be a point to where, you know, we've got, as a matter of fact, the next item on the agenda, it deals with a company that's made over $100 million of Pike County's money in, you know, water and sewer bills. And we spent years and years and years of litigation just trying to find out, you know, we had water rates, sewer rates, some of the highest rates in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, as a matter of fact. And we couldn't even find out how the money was even being spent. So finally, we had the Supreme Court of Kentucky agreed with us on that issue and said, yeah, you need to show some records and show these people how their money's being spent. Then they changed the law on us, so now we got about 70 or 80 million dollars that we don't know how's being spent. So anyway, you know, we're not, you know, we want to work with you. I want to work with you. I've probably been a little bit more outspoken than most, but, you know, we need to have something in writing that shows the people how their money's being spent. You know, I don't like taking public money and keeping it a secret as to what you're doing with it. I think that's just a bad way to do business.
Unfortunately, that's the circumstance that you're in, and I understand your concerns. And
What would you recommend that we do?
I'm just asking that you hold off until the end of February.
What's the significance, if you will, of the end of February?
I just believe that the financing will be in place to where you could start.
But can you show us, I mean, is there something that you can share with us that would solidify what you're saying?
The only thing that I can say is
Just trust you.
This is what I understand.
From who?
From the people from RCL, the David Farmer and the Bill Johnsons.
Well, why won't they come to us and share that with us? I mean, we're not going to flog them. We just like to know what's going on.
If I could interject, when I see I get to advise a lot of people privately, but when I see they've got 25% loans, I tell them it's time to maybe start talking to going into default status, maybe going up. Has the company listed this as I know anytime I do a financial, you have to not only put who's suing you, but you also have to put on anticipated litigation. Has the company, looks like just the fact they've defaulted on a note would hurt them as far as financing. Right now, they're in default on this note. Now, I know what my banker does when I'm in default, and I get calls at my home and the office, and nothing unusual, but 25% interest is I know there's people charging more than that.
I think about everybody in this room would like to have some returns.
I don't know how many big multi-million-dollar corporations we deal with that borrows $400,000 at 25%. And I don't know. I don't have a vote on the court. I wish I did because I get the blame sometimes, but that's just my interjection. Has the company listed this as an anticipated, a defaulted note when they go to financing? They have to. If they're going to be honest with their banker, they're going to have to tell them they've defaulted on a note to Pike County, Kentucky. Or are they going to lie and sneak around and say, well, not really. Maybe we're just sneaking around a little bit.
That's an answer. That's a question.
You don't know and I don't know. We won't know.
I'm not involved on that side of it. I'm just involved in trying to put people to work. And the only thing that I'm asking the court to do is try to.
It smells like a defunct corporation. It smells like it. Maybe we can get some proof it's not.
Mark, did you say you have a memorandum of understanding?
I mean, hell,
For them to build the project with the building trades to represent the workers, the construction workers. That's what we
Okay.
have.
When was that signed, or?
Last week.
Okay. Is that a confidential agreement, or is it a?
I don't think so. I could give you a copy of that.
Okay. And just briefly, when I talked with you, you indicated that the pension fund would be interested in the last 20% of financing.
Well, usually on most projects, the last 20% is the equity portion of it, and usually that takes the longest to develop. And we have an entity called the Union Labor Life Insurance Company. It's based around Washington, D.C., and they invest pension fund money into projects such as this. And at this time, they are vetting this project on right now.
How big of a project is this?
About $300 million project.
So this, is this $400,000 that we gave, is that?
It would be a percentage of 1%, I would assume.
I mean, is that a make or break? I mean, out of the 300 million, is that a make or break? Is that going to make or break the deal?
I think the point of the matter is it will take them until sometime in February before they can make payment, start making payment.
Did they share with you that they've told us that about 3 times already?
No, they did not.
Okay, well, they did. We've got I mean, we might need to discuss this in executive session, I suppose under pending litigation, and then we can, because we've actually already voted to file suit against them, and then we can, maybe discuss it and see what they want to do. But I appreciate you coming. I mean, you're the first one that's actually came and spoke to us.
Well, it's an important project, and you could put 500 people to work, and that's enough to get me involved in it.
It is, and I would like to see those 500 people in Pike County.
Well, Pike County is one of the counties that I represent, along with all the surrounding counties around here, that I definitely are in the business of putting local people to work on a local project.
How many members do we have in the county in that union? I know McGoffin and some of our surrounding counties have a bundle, but I didn't know how many we actually have in Pike.
That's a question that each individual union would have to answer.
I've got some friends in McGoffin. They load up 6 in a car and work. Yeah, they've hired a lot of people in the area.
A lot of pipe fitters in this region.
Right, sure is.
So,
They sure
I
are.
mean,
They
it's
do
in
it.
each county. I mean,
They've all had good livings. I agree.
But I just wanted you to get my input on it. I appreciate your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thanks.
Anybody else got any questions of Mark? Now, and with him, I think today that he has Jamie Rucker. He is
He's the manager
plumbers
of
and
pipe
steam
fitters.
fitters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And their training director is with them too, Ben Collier.
And then the training. Now, what if you don't have enough workers locally? What do you all have a program that you train them?
Yes, we do. We have a training program we can organize in with skills. We get a lot of things we can break it in and improve their skills up. We have apprenticeship programs. So it's in place in between.
And once they get that license, or they can go anywhere in the United States?
Yes, sir.
And they're a member of your union?
Yes.
Okay.
375 locals across the United States. And wherever they work, pension and healthcare money they make there belongs to that. So they're putting in just one thing, you're not spread all over the country.
Anybody got a question of those?
The only question I have, Herbie, is, I'm glad you guys come, but why didn't the company send somebody up to talk instead of sending the labor? It seemed like they're getting the cart before the horse. And, we appreciate you for what the information you brought up here, but it would have been nice if we'd had a representative from the company here to speak on behalf of the company.
I understand.
If you could send me a copy of that memorandum of understanding, I will certainly
Okay.
distribute it to the members of the court or anybody else that'd be interested.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
I would say show us the money.
All right. Status update on UMG Open Records Act litigation.
Judge, I just asked,
Keith?
yeah, Keith, I asked that to be put on the agenda, and I'll defer to Keith on this issue.
Get me up to speed.
As far as the Supreme Court had ruled that we were entitled to the records, I reckon during the time period that they were deemed a public agency, and I've been asked a lot of questions about if we had been provided the books or had an opportunity.
I've practiced law for about 30 years, and I don't know what you do after you win at the Supreme Court. I don't know what you do. I guess they said they remanded it back to circuit now.
I've been practicing 50, and
First time I
Don't know either.
and you make a request.
I don't even know what they do down there. Yeah, you go back now to square one, and they have to turn the records over, just send over to them.
That's right.
Do we even need the records now that they're not contracting with us?
Well, they may have done something in the past that we need to
Okay.
find out about.
I guess we just send over, there's someone from the,
We have to go back to Floyd Circuit Court. Somebody had made the recommend? or
They'll probably,
not-
after the Supreme Court ruling, they'll probably just give
I
it to you.
don't think so.
They'll just give it to you,
I
I
wouldn't
think.
think you'd have, Floyd Circuit Court probably doesn't have any jurisdiction now.
Have they exhausted?
Well, they were the circuit judge. It was tried in Floyd Circuit initially.
Well, Bobby, what do you ask a question?
Have they exhausted any in all appeals that they had on this?
Once the Supreme Court makes a decision.
That's it.
And the time runs for a request for them to reconsider their decision, and they've denied that, it becomes final.
Have they
It's
requested?
my understanding that it is a final judgment.
Final judgment.
No more appeals can be taken from it, Magistrate Anderson.
Okay. So what do whoever the custodian,
Next step is.
Okay, the next step is for the county attorney. No, I think there's a technicality that you have to meet to get those records, and I'm sure that I'll work with Keith to see where, if you want some of them or whatever, well.
yeah, well, I want what we requested.
You want?
Just what we request, whatever we're entitled to.
Okay. Well, I'll get with Keith and we'll draft something up to get it, or
Okay.
have your answer for the next meeting.
And one thing too, I don't know, there was a provision, if I'm not mistaken, that if we won that case, that we may be entitled to like a 20.
There's some provision that for attorney fees. Now, I'm not really familiar with that. We could look, and who was the attorney that represented Pike in that, or?
Well, initially Roland, he argued it in Floyd Circuit Court, and then we had to get, was it a Kaplan guy maybe in Louisville? Kaplan?
I think, well, it wouldn't hurt to see if we can get attorney fees. That you have to petition, I think, the Floyd Circuit Court for that. That would have to
Okay.
be awarded by the Floyd Circuit Court.
I think I think there might be even like a $25 a day fee or penalty or something might be entitled to. Just,
Okay. Well, we'll look
but
into.
you check into that?
We'll look into that.
All right, I appreciate it.
There is a penalty. I think there's a possibility that it's stopped or told during all the law process.
I see.
I'll check that, make sure.
Okay.
All
Thanks.
right. Frankie, you got any bids? No bids, all right. Magistrate's road work.
Motion.
I need a motion to accept Magistrate's road work.
Motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Diskins.
Yes. Magistrate's comments. Jeff?
Judge, I think I've probably said all I need to say today. I can't, I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And, we miss Chick. I mean, he was, I've had some phone calls, and Chick was a good man, good magistrate. And one question I have had in the last week or so, a lot of people have asked me who was going to be the appointment, or when it was even going to be made. Herbie, you have any?
No, but I didn't. I do know this from personal experience, that we, a couple of days after the Chick passed away, Judge Deskins drafted a letter to the governor and sent it to him, asking if the tradition of Eastern Kentucky and a short term left, that if they would honor the tradition that his wife be appointed the rest of his term. We got a letter back, a call back, that the way this administration does it, you have to file an application online. And I think she has filed an application online, his widow, and along with several other people.
Okay.
They've indicated that they have to have proof from this fiscal court of his death, and then it will take them from 30 to 60 days to make that appointment.
Okay.
It hasn't been made yet. We don't have a death certificate, and as soon as we get one, we will, whatever criteria that they've set up their own criteria. And of course, the governor gets the appointment or non-appointment.
Right.
There's no mandatory thing that he has to appoint, I don't think, but When we get that, we'll send everything in.
Good deal. One thing, is Barry Johns here by any chance in the room? Barry Johns, there was an issue we were going to take up. I thought he may be here. I didn't see him, but I was just checking to make sure he didn't sneak in on us. Okay, that's all I have.
Well, Chick's widow, Peggy, asked me to see the governor if she could finish his term next year. And I wrote a letter and also some other stuff and asked to have that done, and I don't know for a while. But I've asked for her to have his, recommended to her for his last year. So, all right, Leo?
Well, just thank everybody and hope everybody has a very good Thanksgiving, and very lonely today, Chick not sitting here. I've been around, I've been with him over 15 years, so everybody grown close to him, and it'll be a while to get over it.
Leo?
Mr. Chick being not being here, and I miss him. He used to call me about every night, about 10 or 10:30.
Yeah. Well, he was a good friend. Yeah. Hillman?
Judge, I've got a few issues. Been talking to the state, District 12 on the bridge over at Blackberry, which Jackie there I've been doing some research on, and they gave me a packet to bring before the court, and they've agreed on an 80-20 deal on the bridge. Went over and looked at the bridge, and we could cut it down probably 30 feet in the length, but they won't agree on it because it's in the floodway. And Jimmy Kaiser been looking at that. And did you and Ralph have time to do anything on it? Do we need to move on it today or give you a few more days? What do you recommend?
Yeah, give me a few more days. I talked to him some this morning, and he's supposed to get back with me here today. He said if he could get up with that other engineer and stuff, and then we'll know a little bit more about him.
Okay, we'll just wait till the next court meeting. And what they told me down there was that we have to have the minutes approved by this court, and then send a copy of that with your recommendations on the floodway, and get a permit, which you've already, I guess, in the process of applying to get the permit. And then it has to go down for them to sign off on. And then we got to agree to build the bridge. And they've given me a list of the contractors that's certified through the state, which we got to contact and have the bids, come back and opened up. And then I guess once the bridge is built, we pay the bill, and then they reimburse us. And I think Jackie Darrell took to Louisville, to Commissioner Reese.
Yes, I personally went down last week. I went to Chick's wake service Tuesday night, but I thought it was kind of critical to get that in. And I met with him and his secretary and gave him the RS forms requesting the full amount of money that we got in our system. It's $285,000, I believe about $600 requested that. And so they said they would get that paperwork done and get back with us. So getting the ball game rolling. Mr. Reese, so normally the secretary said normally 240 was the top you get on any project, but Mr. Reese interceded and told me to fill out for the whole $285,000 that we had in the deal.
And I guess we'll let Jimmy talk after a while on the trail, what he's got done on it so far. And I guess, Judge, right now is about all I have. We'll talk some more later, but Mike May has asked me to give him opportunity to talk in my comments. I guess he's got somewhere he needs to go, and he didn't want to wait till public comments, and if you would and the court would agree to recognize him and let him go ahead and do his talking right now would be fine.
All right.
Yeah, just recognize Mr. May here.
But we've got one more matter.
But I'm doing it under my comments right now.
He can go ahead.
And then it'll go to,
Okay. All right. Well, we need to go into executive session.
after we get through, you know, we've got,
Make a comment, and I got a few comments, Judge, and we can do that.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
This Mr. May wants to make a comment concerning, I guess, one or two of those districts, and then we'll go into executive session, Judge.
All right.
Mr. May.
Okay, I appreciate this, and I'm going to open up by saying, Herbie, I don't think you're a hater.
What?
I do not think you are a hater.
Oh, I'm a lover.
I think you are, and I appreciate what you've done over the years for the common man.
He's a good cook, too. Good cook.
Well, I had several things. I'm going to pass a picture around here. Most of you have already seen it. And I've got a few questions, legalities, that I'd like the county attorney to comment on. This here is a picture of Runyon's Branch. I've got pictures of, these are actually two different dates. They represent pretty well the same, you see the same thing in each picture. And the water has been running down this road for over 3 years. I have been to Magistrate Varney. We went through a lot of things to come to the thing. At the expense, the county opened this up October the 3rd. A few weeks later, it was filled back in. And to my understanding, Keith, it is unlawful to fill in a ditch by the county road and to have the water running. And also, they had done some work on the creek bank where the water had run over for 3 years. And now myself, finally, the road commissioner went up, and with quite a few problems with the people there, he had, my understanding, had to have some deputy sheriffs with him. But he was in the process, even went over to some property I owned and ditched it, it's been needing a ditch. Actually, before they hard topped it, I had asked Branham to do that and put a drain in there. Now, this is on my property. But Jackie Darrell did do a ditch over there while he was up there. Even, he wasn't big. But what I'm saying is, what do we do when, you have Mr. Varney? I'd heard him sit here back months ago and rant and rave about people and pulling drains out of things, other places, Meat House and so on. But he had no concern. And have you got the picture yet, Bobby? You have seen it before, but would you have no problem? And if we could get a shot of this, show the people what we've been going through. Now, do you see a problem with that on the county road, Bobby?
Well, I'd like to know how much it rained at that time.
Well, well.
The road is not deteriorating any.
Over on the side, well, Jackie Darrell, did you not, was it not deteriorated, and you did some work up there?
Well, on the creek side, it's breaking in some area. A wall had been put in. I think when I was deputy road commissioner there, we throw some steel and put some guardrail in, and the waters got in there and broke that loose. And then on top of something you're saying, and this has been a little tough issue of me, Tommy Sr. was a personal friend of mine, but it don't matter with your friend, Democrat or Republican, safety of the road comes first, and that's what I'm hard for. But Tommy Sr. talked Danny into putting a drain up there. He himself said he had a water problem up there in the upper end. But I wouldn't really thought you need one there, but that was prior to my knowledge of anything. But he told Danny a lot of water was coming from his driveway. And so I was up there cleaning the ditch out, and the lady did say she was going to lay down in front of the equipment, so we had the law up there. And we dug a ditch, but we put a drain in there, Danny did, and shortly after they put the drain in, my friend run the gas line through there and then covered the drain up, which I told him somebody's telling some story wrong. Here, you covered it up, the taxpayers paid and the county workers did it for a drain to be put in there, and you've covered it up, plus that ditch was there. And I assume at the lower ends we drug the ditch. There's a drain there before you get to Tommy Jr.'s place, and we opened it up. I went back 2.5 feet and still didn't find the end of it. And so that ditch originally was back probably 3 foot or more in originality. And we dug that ditch, we dug really close to the road. Should have had a foot of shoulder on it at least, but we didn't quite have that much. But we put about a foot ditch in there, and they got on my, it's kind of a tough day really, but the woman kept on going along. Tommy Sr. wasn't too bad, but we had 2 deputy sheriffs there, and things went pretty good. But anyway, they wanted the dirt left there, and I have best practice if we can get the dirt to somebody local, make use of it. I've always done that. But I said, you put that dirt back in that ditch, Tommy, and I said, I can't leave it here. We'd haul one load off. And he promised me he wouldn't put that dirt back in that ditch. And a few weeks later, well, last week before last, he did just what he said he wouldn't do. And I don't think the taxpayers should have to bear the burden when somebody fills a ditch in like that. They ought to be required to either pay a private contractor to take it out, and if not, in a period of a couple of weeks, we go there and clean it up and give them a bill for what they filled in. And normally you wouldn't do that, but they shouldn't cause that burden on the taxpayer and possibly, risk that water gets on the road in the winter and it freezes, and they put some little small drain in there, and the water comes off the yard, there's a big yard, and down the road. And so the purpose of a ditch is catch the water, not let it get on the road, not just only deteriorating the road, but also a safety hazard, when people driving from freezing or getting on water and hydrogliding.
Yeah, send it back over there.
So I think, Keith, really there should be we need to quit playing, it's hard for me to say that, I've been through politics all my life, but we need to quit playing so much politics sometimes and do a little, enforcement to keep others from doing this and creating more work and more expense on the taxpayers of our county. So what's the legal deal on that, Keith?
Sue them. Get the court here to vote on it, and I'll sue them. I'll go to work.
Well, the taxpayers has done.
Or I don't think we can make a criminal case. I think if it'd been a little more blatant, a little more but he lives in that area and thought he's improved, I don't think you could make a criminal case, but yeah, we can sue him. Or you could hire your own lawyer, sue him, name the county, and then bring everybody into it.
Mr. County Attorney, really? You want me to sue them? I have enough with my private property of going to court with them.
I'll sue them.
But, I mean, the county, is that all the county can say? Here are tax tickets. I'm sure everybody has got a real shock out of that.
I did.
The county part of it has went up 46% in the last, since 2015.
I said I'll sue them.
Well, but
have Jackie Darrell fix it and then bill them for it and then sue them.
But I think, the court should bill them for it. It's at their expense. They done been up there and opened it up once. And the way the ditch was and what he was saying, I can verify. If you'd seen the picture, see that come out, it was like that, where it sloped off. Well, where that slope, if you really look at the picture, you can tell that's where the ditch began.
You ask a lawyer what to do, you know what I'm going to say.
Well,
Herbie's going to say, get him in court. This court can't do a lot of things that the circuit court can do. Circuit court's got control of land.
Well, true. Well, so I would suggest if that's what needs to be done, this court here sues. That is county property. To throw it over and here.
No, we have to, if we sue somebody, we have to do it over there. We can't sue somebody in here.
I understand that.
Right.
But the physical court should be the one to make the suit.
Right, okay.
But if you go to them and at least recoup, and that's like the drain that was put in there.
I'll talk to him during the, I think any litigation I'm supposed to talk to back there.
But also, we're talking politics. The conduit, the drain he used as conduit to put his gas line through several years. I have mentioned it here in this court before, and that just ain't right. And that nobody will take a thing and here, okay, we'll do that. Danny Branham was the man behind that. But anyway, I would hope that somebody would take a hold and do what is right. And I do thank you for your time.
I'm here to represent the court. Be glad to do
Okay.
it.
Went from 13, 12 chicks.
All right,
Let's see,
executive session.
when, Mr. Varney, does, Master Varney have any, comments?
KRS, please.
Yeah, if Hillman's through,
Well, you know, Mike, you said we went up 40% on our tax rate. The way I understand it, we went up 5.4% over
5.4 cents.
5.4 cents.
Hillman, I had on my listing, and I didn't want to take the time. This right here was
I've got
pressing.
a copy here.
But if you figure out the math on what the percentage rate went up, it was 40-some% from 2015, 36-something% from 16 to 17. And, you know, that is figuring in arithmetic. Now, what you're talking is pennies. I'm talking a percentage. That over 2 years, 46%, that's almost half. That if you're paying $1, well, I was going to say $1.50, but you'd pay $1.46, almost half again is what you're paying percentage-wise. And if you figured out, if there's anybody with, you know, your calculator, or if you figure it out, yes, I think what you're talking about, Hillman, is the rate itself from like 0.1360 to 0.1800. I believe that is the difference in the county's rate. And yes, that was just, but if it figures out to be like 36-some% from 16 to 17.
Mike, I'm glad you brought that issue up, and there's a lot of other people here today concerning the taxes, and we're going to get into that later on. But, you know, the fiscal court is getting blamed for a lot of things that really we had no control of, just like when these other tax places set their rates, all we can do is acknowledge what they set.
I understand that.
And you know, back years ago, they put the court in jail for not voting for a tax increase. But that law has been changed over the years, and now we recognize what the tax base is set by the different places.
Okay, the school.
And we didn't vote to raise the taxes this year because it was an issue that we wanted to leave it the way it was. The way it was last year, that's what we wanted to do.
But you didn't.
Do what?
But you didn't. There was a raise.
Well, it was a raise because the state had come in and done that raise.
Well,
they kept a compensating rate, which was supposed to be in the way it was last year, but due to the tax decrease. I'll let Herbie, he knows more about this than I'll ever know.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you talking about to get the same amount of money you took in last year?
That's what we were doing.
But that raises my tax bill. And
you know, if the county is going to operate, we've got to have a tax base somewhere if you're going to get benefits from, just like you're talking about your road work.
I'm just going to go with that, yes.
And you know,
the taxes ain't such a big deal if we can see, and they're going, you know, it's appropriated equally. They ain't a chosen few that's being done work for them privately, like the drain that was put in and then covered in over a gas line. But the school tax, all those, yeah, everything. Now, the state rate itself did not go up. That and one other there, the health department, all others. But now the county, my figuring, percentage-wise now, not dollar-wise, percentage-wise, the county had the biggest increase. And yes, maybe you had to increase it.
I think you're wrong. And we'll get into that later on.
Okay, I'll stick around then, Hillman, because I really was prepared to do that until I wanted to get this other situation.
Right. But I think we've got other business with District 6. You know, I took my time out to let you speak, but I thought you said you had to go.
Well, I would, but if you're going to talk taxes, I'll try to stay around if it ain't
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk taxes.
Okay, good deal.
Hillman, there's one other thing that we need to discuss about that Majestic school over there. We've been working to finalize that lease and talking with you. We've run into a couple of problems about the cafeteria, what to do there. Are we going to reserve any space and that? And I expect to come over there.
Well, you know, that is an issue that I told you to talk with Brian. He was the one that negotiated the contract with the health department. And as soon as you can get that signed and documented, they're ready to go.
Okay, and we're about there, but I need to come over there and look at that to see what we draft out in that, in the exceptions covers everything over there, because there's 5 or 6 different areas. But we'll get over there after this week. I'll come over there myself and make sure that we're accepting the portions that we ought to. Okay? Okay.
Bobby?
Thank you, Judge. We had a trail ride on November the 11th, and I just want to thank a few people for the things that happened. I think Jimmy Bevins will give you a better update on that and stuff. But Paul Wimpson and his men, the work that they done, there's a couple of them fixing the beans and the cooks and stuff that they done. Brian Morse and the jail personnel that helped with the food, preparing the food. Terry Rogers for help planning and getting some of the food to the place. Sheriff Rodney Scott and his deputies, they stayed with us all day. They always do a great job. I just want to thank all of them, make sure they do that. And I'm sure Jimmy will say some other things in a few minutes. I do have a petition signed by residents of May Branch in my district, County Road 7845. They want to request to change the speed limit to 15 miles per hour. So I'll hand that down to you, Herbie.
Okay.
We had a little miscommunication back in August. I think is when they originally asked me about that, and they filled out a piece of paper that was on the wrong piece of paper or something, but that's what that is.
Okay.
The Christmas on the Mountain program at Grants Branch is going on strong. We've got a lot of Christmas decorations in. We've got a 12-foot Christmas tree put up in the cabin up there on the park right now. Our plans are right now on December the 1st, Friday, December the 1st, 6 o'clock, we'll have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Like to invite any and all to come over to it. We'll have probably some hot chocolate, some Christmas cookies, and just good old fashioned fellowship. Might sing a few carols. We might even get him if he comes tell a joke or something. But we'll have a good little time with that. Steve, people that want to bring their Christmas decorations in, bring them in. We're going to be decorating outside too. We've got a lot of things planned there. I've got something planned every Friday or Saturday up to Christmas, starting January or December the 1st. One couple other things. Our Pride group, what a great job they do, and I do want to commend them and Jimmy Dale and all the work that they do. You just got to keep on keeping on it. I mean, we just got to keep picking up the trash, it seems like. Be going down December the 7th, Judge, to Lexington. Danny Branham, my road foreman, will be graduating as a road scholar and a road master from the state of Kentucky, and I'm real proud of him and the work that he's done in that. So we'll be going down to his graduation on December the 7th in Lexington. And wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey. Thank you, Judge.
All right, we have to go into executive session. The KRS, please.
All right, at this time, I'll make a motion that we go into executive session, and according to KRS 61.810, paragraph C, we'll discuss proposed or pending litigation, and paragraph F, Pacific personnel.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
We'll be in excess here. The meeting will resume.
Okay.
Now go ahead.
Before we get going again, I notice here in the sign-in that there are about 10 people that have asked, or 8 people that have, is there anyone that's going to be a spokesman on this tax question or comments? Or do we have the same comment out of 8 people? That's what I'm tempted to. Anybody elected themselves or anybody?
Hey, Herbie, I was going to ask you, is Ryan still here, Ryan Johns? Can we go ahead and let him speak and take care of him on
Yes.
that lease? Ryan, you want to come up? I misspoke earlier and called him by the wrong name. I hope I didn't offend you, Ryan. No. Okay.
He didn't call you Rio, though. He's just off one generation.
That's right, not too bad. Yeah, we are developing a solar project up on Bent Mountain, and it's going to be a 100-megawatt solar facility. And what we are asking is to lease a portion of the county's land that butts up to ours. We don't particularly have to have it for the project, but it adds on a sector there that will help with it. And then also what I've been told by ARC is once that the county does that, that allows the county to apply for ARC grants in order to do some of the work up there.
Did you say Bent Mountain?
Yeah, on Bent Mountain, right above the landfill.
Yep.
Ford Mountain or Bent Mountain?
Ford
Yeah,
Mountain.
Ford Mountain. Okay.
Ford Mountain, yeah.
You got Bobby excited.
Yeah.
So you just need can you give us like a little, maybe a synopsis of the project?
What we're looking at, it's a 100-megawatt solar facility. It'll employ about 200 people, and they're in the construction phase. It's about a $150 million investment to come into the area. Construction will begin sometime late next year. We're still waiting on some of the approvals and stuff to come back, and the power and stuff will be sold on the PJM on the wholesale market and stuff on there. Then we'll probably have 50 or so permanent jobs that'll be here.
Sheet with
I don't know. I didn't.
And that's our.
The one thing I just want to, just for the record, is that the county is not on the hook for any
Oh, no, the county's not.
financial.
No, all this is a deposit for the county.
Right.
It allows for,
Yeah, you just read it off.
you're going to have more taxes to be able to come in. There'll be
That's why I was looking for
structures on
that.
the facilities. Yeah, the county's not out any money. We're not asking for any county money.
Who's providing the sunlight?
Jeff, I've read,
That comes
I've
from
read
God.
2 leases that they sent over.
You good with it?
Well, yeah, they're proper, they're,
Legal like.
we don't gain anything, we tend to, we'll gain something, we don't lose anything.
Okay.
Project doesn't go, the property comes back.
Okay.
Herbie, I got one question. It won't interfere with our landfill in no way, will it?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
No. I hope everything works out for y'all.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
did
talking
this.
about on top of the hill there behind the landfill, is that the property?
Yeah, that's it.
You don't need
Okay.
400,000.
We
right?
do have a CDD permit to construct a CDD cell on top of that hill, but we never did do it, so we would need to terminate that permit.
Okay. Well,
We don't need it, Bob?
No, it cost us so much to construct and then to man the thing. We're better off of that.
okay.
Permit to get rid of some of the debris and wood and things.
Yes, that's what it was for. But we do have an active permit on that we
Yeah.
need to terminate.
Okay. If there's any issues, we'll have our people call his people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks for coming.
All right, thank you all.
All right. Do we, go ahead and make a motion to approve the lease? Is that all you need?
Yes, to approve the documents related to that.
To that, okay. That's my motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Herbie's gonna read the employees that we have to deal with.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Diskin.
Yes.
And Judge Deskins has indicated in executive session, we discussed personnel. This is his recommendation. Approved to hire Melissa Prater as full-time solid waste monitor at Phelps at a 3/8 rate of pay. Discuss Troy Bryant donated sick leave. That will be just put off, I guess, until the next time. Approval to hire Enos Bingham as a truck driver at lot number 3 at a 3/8 pay rate. Job, acknowledge the retirement of Robert Morgan. You have, he a lot work for you, didn't he, Leo?
Yes, Robert Morgan is probably 72 or 3, worked for 20-some years. One of the most dedicated people I've seen for the county. Worked really well.
Then the approved to hire Kim Smith in Judge's office as an assistant to the deputy judge at 3/8 hourly pay effective 11/6/17, and acknowledge the resignation of Kevin Maynard's effective 11/17/2017. These are the judge's recommendations.
I need a motion in a second.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Have you,
What's next?
any more work to do? Oh, you done that. I guess we're at public comments.
Okay, we have,
Public comment.
now we have several people that have, want to make public comment on the tax situation that we have. I guess we ought to hear the public comment, and then I have certain information that will be pertinent to why we're faced with the situation that we're in right now. So if the list that you signed in, if
Here's the list. Oh.
right here, yeah.
Oh,
Thursday, 21st.
See, Mickey Walker, see, Mike Walker, okay.
Yes, I'm not here for taxes. I'm here for different. Information. Yeah, information.
Informational, okay.
Hello and good morning. Afternoon now, I apologize. I will make this real brief. This will only last about 2 hours. That's my joke, folks. Hopefully we can get y'all laughing to begin with. Got a few out of you, so that's good. My name is Mike Walker. I'm with the Air Medcare Network. What the Air Medcare Network is the membership program for Air Evac, MedTrans, REACH, and Guardian Life, which that encompasses all around Pike County. The reason why I came before the court today is I'm actually the brand new membership manager for this area. If you didn't know, we have a helicopter now based in Prestonsburg. We have one in Letcher County in Jenkins. Please tell me if I'm wrong on that one, Jenkins. Okay, thank you. For Jenkins, you have one in Logan County, West Virginia. You have one in Manchester, Kentucky. And I can keep on going on and on and on that services this area that comes into the University of Pikeville Medical Center. I'm sorry, I apologize. But I just wanted to come in, say hello, introduce myself, introduce the membership program. You're going to see my face and name a lot. There's already, it's going around, especially down in Belfry right now. You'll see me in a lot of Rotarian clubs, civic clubs, places like that. But I just want to submit, if I may, to the court, one of our brochures to each individual member. Is that okay with you, Judge?
That's fine.
Okay. If y'all have any questions, I'm going to stick around till afterwards. Please ask any questions that you may have. I'll be more than happy to give out my phone number as well. But thank you all so much.
Thank
How
you.
come we don't have one in Pikeville?
I cannot answer that question, sir.
Well, you wanted to know if we had any questions. That was one I had. I know they're all surrounded there, and I just wonder why. We used to have one here and they
Yes,
took
sir, and
it
I was
out.
actually a part of that outfit, the one that was here. As you know, it changed hands and it left the area, and I do apologize for that. But what I can reassure you is that everywhere around Pike County, we do have a helicopter that services this area.
Thank you.
Thank you. That sure is my name. My name is Mike Walker. Michael Walker, it doesn't matter which one you call me. Please feel free to call me anytime with any questions whatsoever about the membership program. Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to give business cards to every single person on the court. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, is there anyone else that's got any other comment besides the property tax? Blake Walker. Blake Walker. What are you going to address us, Mr. Walker?
Concerning the bridge at Walker's Branch, down on Lower Johns Creek.
Okay, that's Mr. Whose district is that?
Jeff.
Anderson, okay.
Last month, you agreed to put it in the budget for next year for trying to get a bridge down there, and you were supposed to go down and talk to my sister and see what you could work out. Have you ever done that, or?
Actually, I haven't, Blake. I've had some illness in the family, and I haven't been able to, and I've been gone a few days as well. But I have not had a chance to go talk to her, but I fully intend to go speak to her.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I know within the next month, next 2 weeks, next week, I mean, when do you think?
Next week or two, I think I'll be able to get away and go speak to her.
Okay, when's the next court meeting, the one, first Tuesday?
December 5th.
Can you think you have it
Yeah, I think I
done
can,
by
I think I
then,
can
or
arrange it.
do I need to wait till the next one in the morning, the third one?
No, I can talk to her. I mean, that's up to you when you come back, but I think I can talk to her.
Well, I mean, if you ain't been down there to talk to her, they ain't no use me coming back and hearing the same thing again and taking up your first time.
How about I call you after I talk to her?
That'll work for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
We have a Josh Smith, 821 Meat House Fork Road. Mr. Smith,
sewage and water, the big investment, I guess it was lost on that. And I heard about the construction, the man here on construction, about the possible investment that the taxpayers have lost on that ordeal. And it sounds like to me, I mean, I'm trying to be as respectful as I can because, again, I respect the jobs each and every one of you do. But the business, if it was a business, each and everybody would be fired of all these bad investments that are being made. And it seems to me that the easiest scapegoat that's going about is just put more taxes on us. And I respect, I don't care to pay my taxes. It's not that. It's just there has to come to a certain point where enough is enough. And these unmined mineral taxes that I have recently heard and just been discussed about, are they also unowned? Or they're just
Are they
co-companies?
what? I'm sorry, I couldn't.
These unmined minerals, the co, is it something that the co-companies are sitting on or not ready to mine, or?
I'm going to address that after each one speaks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And tell you what the situation on that, what happened, and what we can do about it, if anything.
Okay, well, that's pretty much all I had to say.
If you have any questions,
Yeah.
you'll be free to ask questions.
Sure.
Okay, well, I guess that's all I have to say. Sorry.
Okay. I'll try to address all those problems that you've said. Okay, how about Mr. Chris Bartley, or Bentley, Bartley? Bartley, okay.
I'd like to thank you guys for having us here today. I deal with a lot of students in my profession. I'm a youth pastor, and one of the statistics that I've recently received is that our county, the students that are in our county are 71%
food insecure. That means 71% of the students from first grade to senior in high school are food insecure. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And so our feeding program that our county has encompassed has helped that number. But we also, I would like to say that was 2015, 2016 numbers. So we know that number is going to go up probably because of the loss of jobs in the coal market. The recent tax increase is going to increase that number significantly. I deliver food to schools. Last week I was in one of our county schools, and a young boy said, "Mister, are you the one that brings the food?" I said, "Well, I bring some of it." He said, "Well, I appreciate that because my mommy works hard." I said, "I know that." I said, "That's good." He said, "But sometimes she has to not eat so we can eat. So the food you bring helps us eat." So know that the tax increase is taking food not just from the mommy or the daddy, but from the students as well. If kids are hungry, they can eat. I know we need money to operate. I know we need money to make sure things happen. But I also know that a gradual increase would have been way more bearing upon the citizens than it would be this drastic increase. I would just like to make that known.
Okay.
We don't have any control over how the increases are. Those are set by Frankfurt.
Right. It was my understanding that this physical court's non-ability to vote on it is what caused that. And so I think it does fall on this. Absolutely. And that's just my understanding. I may be wrong. And I feel that he probably should have made his comments before anybody got up, because it probably could have cleared up a lot of this stuff that's going to be discussed anyway.
Okay.
But I do thank you guys.
All right. Philip Justice, or did I've not got my glasses on here. Is that Philip?
Justice.
Who?
Philip.
Philip. Okay, and this one here, is that Barbara Justice? Barbara Justice? Okay. And Jared Smith? Jody, I know that, he doesn't, they didn't say.
Good afternoon, Court. This is my first time actually addressing you guys for anything before, but being a candidate for office this time, I've had a lot of people contact me throughout this last week about the property tax increase, and I'm here today mostly a voice for those people who couldn't be here. Some of them had to work, some of them different things going on. So kind of as their voice, we got a high unemployment rate in this county. We've had a very big downturn in the coal economy. Right before Christmas time, this is a hard lick for people. I had one lady tell me, I had budgeted based on last year's property tax. Now here I am with a bill that is several $100s more, almost $1,000 more. How am I going to buy my kids their Christmas gifts this year? Or how am I going to pay my basic bills or not lose my property once I pay these taxes? I guess my question would be just to the court in general. I live over in Hillman's district, if he wants to answer, but just anybody in general. Who is responsible for this? Because everyone I seem to talk to, the school board kind of wants to kick it to the state. The state says call your local officials. Spoke to some people in county government. They say it's not their fault, as we've heard. So I guess what caused this to happen, and what, as the court as a whole, could you all have done to stop it from happening? And that's my question for the court today.
Okay, we'll address that.
Thank you, Herbie.
Now, I think there's a couple more. There's some people that signed up that did not indicate that they wanted to speak, that would like to address the court.
I signed up.
What's your name, sir? Yeah, you're the last one. I'm going up. So yeah, Stacy, the microphone is yours.
My name is David Norris. I live in the Big Creek area. And I guess what I want to address more than anything is for the seniors. We're living on a fixed income. I have 2 pieces of property. The one I'm going to share with you is abandoned mine land. It's wrote off as abandoned farm property. Last year, it was $17, $237 this year. How am I supposed to pay this plus my other property tax that went up $800 when I'm living on a fixed income? I can't pay it. It's abandoned mine land. You can't do nothing with it. So I'll just let them have it. They can pay the taxes on it. I don't know what else to do. What's people that's retired, disabled, living on a fixed income, how are we supposed to afford this? I don't care whose fault it is. We can't pay it. It's that simple. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I will, for you in the audience that I haven't met or know, my name's Herbie Deskins, and I work for Judge Deskins as his deputy since the previous deputy took a job as jailer. This is my second or third fiscal court meeting, but I've had many before, and I also chaired the $2 million, and there's thousands of dollars in there that you have to play with. After the 2016 assessment, a group of people got together and went to Frankfurt, and those weren't the everyday people. These are the people, the big people that own lots of coal and lots of natural gas. And all of a sudden, that assessment came down. The assessment on the oil and mineral rights came down $147 million. The assessment on the unmined coal came down $275 million. Now you say, how was this done? I had to email the person who is over the assessments, and here's the answer I got back this morning. And I'll read it to you, and you're welcome to a copy of this letter. It says, thank you for calling this morning with questions about the unmined coal property tax on behalf of Judge Deskins. As you are aware, the Department of Revenue did receive some protest for the 2016 tax year on unmined coal property tax. The result from these protests caused a change in the discount factor for the idle coal reserves, and this change significantly lowered the assessment value for the coal reserves. And then he's attached a formula for that. But what it did, these protests that went to Frankfurt, without any notice at all to this fiscal court or to any other fiscal court, the protesters were mainly the big reserve operators in the state of Kentucky, and I'm informed one of those was the governor of West Virginia, or an agent for the governor of West Virginia, who owes significant taxes in the state of Kentucky still. It reduced the assessment on oil and mineral rights by $147 million. and it reduced the unmined coal by $225 million. That's about $370 million. And that's where your shortfall came in. It took $370 million off the tax rolls. Now, what did the school board have, and what did this fiscal court have? There's House Bill 44 that was fought for years ago to keep the fiscal court from taking over a 4% raise. Set up a set up a formula that you could take instead of raising the taxes, and that's called the compensation fund, the compensated fund. And that's what both the fiscal court and the school board had to take, or if they had to go in and just take the 4.4% allowed by House Bill 44, the school board would have lost about $2.5 million in tax revenue, and the fiscal court would have lost a similar number, or probably more. So it was catch 22. If you could only raise your tax base by 4.4% after this taking out $300 and some million, both the tax entities would lose. So the fund or the formula provides that if you can't do that, that the state will approve a rate that will not bring you any more money than was brought in last year. So that's what's happened. The state, by taking all this tax revenue from the base, nearly $370 million, forced both these taxing entities to take the rate that was set by the state, so as not to have a big shortfall and have to cut off employees and reduce services and shut down schools. And that's basically what it was. It was the coal industry went in without any notice to all these people and got these taxes lowered without any notice to the people. No lawsuits, nothing. I asked if I could get a copy of what happened. He said, no, that's confidential. So we're going to try to find out what happened then, I assure you. But that is the whole story of it right there. When they debased our county on the taxable property that we had, that caused us to have shortfalls, and we could only raise our tax rate 4.4%. But if we took the compensating rate that would allow us to raise the same money as we had last year without any increase in income, that's what both the school board and this fiscal court was faced to do. Yes?
What are we going to do about these coal companies that are, coming to Susan's eyes, going to Frankfurt? In other words, I know everybody here, we work 40 hours, 50, 60 hours a week, school systems, coal mines, I have a job out I have. In West Virginia working in mines everywhere. And my question is, if they can go up their Susan's eyes, earn millions of dollars, and be able to fight for a little less money that they have to pay out, why should we be burdened with it? What do you all want to do to litigate or stop this process, or go and fight back their money? Why should we have to suffer the burden of these extra taxes when ultimately these coal companies who don't care about this county, who are not investing in this county, not mining coal, because of the downturn in the market, why should we suffer because of it? What do you all want to do to make sure it doesn't?
Well, being realistic, and you sound like a very educated young man, you know that this fiscal court can't overrule the Department of Revenue just by a resolution here. Neither can the Board of Education. So it's going to take a little time. I mean, it will take some time to figure out exactly why this happened, why nobody got any notice of it, why people didn't why the fiscal courts weren't involved in it, why the Board of Education wasn't involved in it. So it's not, I don't have any magic number for that, but we're going to have to do something about it, and we will do all that we can to do about it. I'm going to find out why this thing was passed, or why they accepted it. And now that it's a secret that they can't tell us why they did it.
Herbie, one question I have is, who had the authority to do what they did?
Well,
I mean, is it the governor or somebody? Somebody has to be responsible for letting people come in and tell them.
You got the governor. Then he's got a Department of Revenue, and then he's got the mineral section and the oil and gas section. The oil and gas section and the unmined minerals tax answer to the governor. So,
but who has the authority to do what they did?
Well, there's probably in the regulations a way that you can get property reassessed, like you can get your property reassessed individually. If you get an assessment, you can go in and have the PVA to reassess it. I'm sure that they did something. I wish I could tell you off the top of my head, but I don't. I'm going to find out. But it seems to me, I agree with you. This has been the largest decrease in the formula that we've ever had, as long as I can remember.
And Herbie, it only hit the coal-producing counties, is that right?
Only hit the coal-producing counties. It didn't affect Fayette County. It didn't affect any county that didn't have some coal production and coal property that's included in the base that you have to have for a total assessment.
Well, this is something we've been hearing about for, 6, 8 months, when the school was protesting why they took their coal severance away from them.
Well, not the coal severance. This is the coal assessment. In other words, the assessment for unmined minerals in Pike County in 2016 was was $292 million. Then after this board got through with it down there, and they cut it down to $70-some million. That is unfair, and.
But I think the intentions of the court and the judge is to, if we have to, file suit to find out what we can do to change this problem. Is that right?
Well, I think that we ought to at least get the school board's attorney together with the representatives from this board and see if there is a cooperative effort that we can do to whatever it is to change this. But it came from. Now, here's an interesting figure. The real estate in Pike County was valued at $999,000. That went up to $1 billion. 10 figures, is that $1 billion? Yeah, I guess. And then you know who that's assessed by? That's assessed by our own PVA. Very fair. It doesn't go anyway. But then to come in and assess property that's worth $367 million and say it's only and $147 million less, it seems to me like that we ought to find out why that happened, especially to this highly coal counties. I'm sure that Floyd County is probably
and they are
same thing.
Yes, sir.
Floyd and Martin, and we just took a hard knock on this one, and I don't think we ought to just say, well, it's done, and let's don't do anything about it. I would like for us to look into it with our school board to see what we could do.
Curry County too in that.
Well, any of them, any coal-producing counties that had reserves. See, this was based on the reserves. And unfortunately, we have a lot of oil too. You know, that's one of our basic revenue sources. And then they under assessed it. Actually, the oil and mineral rights was assessed in Pike County in 2016 at $367 million. And then in 2017, they knocked off $147 million. And that nobody got any nobody got anything out of that except the coal companies and the gas company. And it comes right back to the people. And I agree with you, it's not fair. We have to do something about it, and we will.
He had a man over with his hand up.
Mr. May?
Yes, Herbie, for y'all that don't know what compensation rate means, that means somebody else don't pay, we make up for it with all the dollars and stuff. And this is not the first time. I was over here last year. I wish I could have had more support, and it wasn't as large. But it was brought up that the assessments on the coal minerals was down. I was trying to speak, Brian Morris said, I don't know what you're talking about. I asked for a little more time to explain. But this should not come as a surprise. And have you not, now did not last year, did not this court vote to raise the county tax from 0.1220 to 0.136, whatever it was? Did y'all not vote to approve that?
I don't think so.
Well, I think you did if you go back through the things. I do think that was voted on. I did speak on it. Do you remember me speaking on it?
Our treasurer's over there.
She had brought up the coal assessment, and what I'm saying is, my saying then was, us poor folks here then here you are, get it off of them. Now this year, it was quite substantial, so that's the reason we've got people here. And really, people, you need to come here more often. But with that, it should not come as a surprise to this court that the mineral was down. And I know that, but it's just putting it on us. And it was a substantial increase, even with the county.
Hey, Mike, we pay taxes too. My family pays
Well,
taxes.
I'm sure
We all
you-
pay.
well,
And
I hope-
we're
well,
not
some-
singled out, you know, whatever it is
Well,
what it is. And
Well,
we're
there's
not.
one member of this court that has over $12,000 out there. That's another thing I think you need to go after, collect some there, county attorney.
He collected,
Do you do it by going to court or just sending a letter?
I usually just send a letter. 90% of the people pay. It's amazing. We have a good pay rate. Our citizens pay their taxes.
Yeah, I had bought some property that had some on it, and I got a letter from you. I paid it.
Our
But
citizens-
I think when these
citizens pay
third
90-some%
parties, when these
on the
third
first
parties go after it, they seem to collect.
I had 200 lawsuits getting ready a couple years ago, and 196 of them got bought out from under me by those companies right when I was filing them. So yeah, these companies do
But they
buy 'em.
collect, and you know, that was
Yeah,
a
they break your
political
back.
move to have the third party, because now the politicians say, oh, we didn't have nothing to do with
Let me tell you
that.
something real quick. You ever watch Andy Griffith any? You ever seen when they got the guy that lived on the edge of town, everybody wanted him sued, and then when they got ready to put him on the street, the whole town came together and fixed his house up.
Andy Griffith, yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
so
sir.
I'm sort of in that position, collecting taxes. That's one of the most, people don't mind if we lock them up. They do not like taking homes. But yeah, Pike Countyans pay better than anywhere else in the state. Pay our taxes, we sure do.
To the thing of the assessments and stuff, and hey, folks, forgive me, but you're trying to shove it around a little bit, but this shouldn't be your first thing of being aware of. I brought it out in a meeting in the past when it went, you know, the small amount that
And we
went
work out payments. It usually the process, it's complicated. I have to call a lawyer every time I do it. It goes to the sheriff, county clerk, comes up to me. I get them when they're real delinquent.
And then they pay your
And-
office a certain amount of money.
And then I have a contract with the state, yeah. And what we do is we work out payment plans with people regularly. We do everything we can to try to work with people. But when they're bought out from under us, it doesn't help anybody. It helps the state likes it because they get their money.
Well, we do need money, but we need to go after people that owes their
Now,
delinquent
I got my
taxes.
tax ticket. I brought it. If I wasn't up here, I'd be back there with you.
Oh, okay.
I got to choose between my kids' tuition and paying this year. Well, we have I don't know what to do, who to complain to. I've been up here asking the same questions you all are because mine went up $1,200 for the year. I'm trying to figure out whether to pay my kids' tuition or pay this. But it's hit us all, like Herbie said. I'm not liking it. But here's the deal. What we need to do is but also, our part is what, how much ours is like 12% of the total, the fiscal court in here. 12% of this money comes to the fiscal court. Mhm.
Well, if I may, then, let me just...
It's everybody's problem.
If I may, let me give you the percentage of the increase from 215 to 216 for the county. 32.79%. School tax, 26.71%. Library tax, 32.32%. Now, if you know your percentage, I'm not talking about the rate down here. I'm talking about the percentage of increase, yes. Your health stayed the same. The state, no change. Soil conservation up 25%. Being the county was the one with the most, which it come to 23.7% overall, the difference from 216 to 217. But, I mean, instead of just
I was trying to figure out
shoving this off, I would like for you to grab a hold of it. And yes, the fewer people that remain in this county, you're wanting to put it all on our backs. And I would hope that in saying that you would try to work with us.
Mike, let me tell you one thing real quick. I was trying to figure out who to get mad at. I'm mad at us at this table, 12% of it. The other 88%, I've got to go figure out who to blame. 12% of that is ours. 88% of it is not ours. I don't know who to blame for the 88%. That's what I'm going to do next.
Well, but let's talk about the 12% you are responsible
12% is what we
for,
get.
okay? I mean, but will you agree with I was over here and I made mention from 215 to 216 on the increase, even though it was minimal to what it was this
For
year?
once in your life, yes, Mike, you were right.
Hey, say that again now.
You were right. We did not know it was going to go up. We
Now,
thought it
if
was just a
you'd
little
addressed
problem.
it,
I don't
what
think
I'm
anybody
saying,
expected
if you
this.
hadn't fluffed me off then and had addressed it, we might not be with this stiff bill right now. And it does make a difference for people out there.
Mike, when my bill went up $50, it didn't bother me. When it went up $1,200, it bothered me. Okay, that was the difference for me.
No, you usually when they say it's not the money, it's the principle, it's usually the money.
There you go.
Well, Mike, I don't think anybody's fluffed you off or anything. We've always,
Well,
we've let you talk and say everything you wanted to say. But what would you do different if you were up here?
Well, I think I would at least address it, and instead of saying, hey, let's not make it up here, let's go and get about these people that are assessing these mineral rights, and try to be fair and not put it off on the citizens here. The poorest people are going workers, us that's on a fixed income. I mean, hey, give me a chance, I might, by gosh, be able to do a little bit.
Well, you might be able to run for commissioner and be able to change it when the time comes, but right now we're dealing with a situation that was handed down to us.
Hillman,
and let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Now. You've been
Yes, sir.
talking.
Yes, sir.
I won't talk 10 minutes.
Okay.
But we had to accept the rates that were set by the tax, like the health department, library board. We can't vote to up or drop it or anything. We just recognize, all we can do is recognize their tax rate.
Hillman,
You agree with that?
That part, I'm going to have to agree with.
Okay, the only one that
But the 12% that Keith is talking about, the county part of it, y'all do have control of.
Right, I agree with that. But we didn't want to raise the tax rate. We took the compensating rate.
Which means we get raised on.
That keeps gravel on your road, and it keeps blacktop in the potholes.
Well,
it keeps the jail
when you
going.
can't keep the ditches open, and that's another
If we
issue.
don't have a tax base, then how do you operate the county?
I would not argue that point at all. But the tax money could go for better use and be looked after a little more out here with what's going on even in the county road department. But Hillman, what I'm saying, bear with me, and I want to make the point that I did come over here last year on the thing and say that, and John told me then, oh, well, this is because the minerals went down. Okay, fine. I said, but then it is put on us. Just what I would ask is for y'all to be direct with us. Don't try to house of mirrors and this and that. And let's work with it and try to help us to get it down.
These are two different issues. The
It is?
assessments of the property that the coal companies took off was a completely different issue than this being unmined coal.
But it
or
amounts to the same
reserve.
thing.
No,
You're-
these are reserves that are not getting taxed because they're not being mined or used to distribute nothing. Those are two different issues.
It may
We
be,
had no
but it's still-
idea. We had no idea
that
this
may
was
be too-
coming behind the doors by Governor Bevan.
But it's still, whatever it is, ma'am, it still amounts to, it falls on us people out here, no matter where it comes
People
from.
sitting here too. I'm a taxpayer in this county too.
Well, I would think y'all would be a little more sympathetic and scream a little more. And probably if you didn't have the job you did, you would.
Look what Herbie got. He got told he couldn't have the information, that it's top secret. And nothing is supposed to be top secret. He's just now finding that out.
That
He needs
is
to go on and
relative
do
to
stuff.
what happens when we come over here to the county is what, Herbie, is what you had happen to you going to the state.
All right,
Somebody else.
all right, commissioners and
Let's see,
directors.
there's a gentleman back here, Bill.
I got a question. How much more is the county gonna be able to generate with the 33% local taxpayers this year?
33%.
It will be the same amount of money that was,
32.79.
it will be the same amount of money that we had last year to run the same services that are going to cost more because they did this in Frankfurt.
My question is, if it's the same amount of money, why did our tax tickets go?
Well, okay.
When
Did you-
assessments go down,
because they
tax
did-
rates go up.
They cut $300 and some million from the assessments that we could tax.
How long is it gonna take for us to pursue this to find out, what Frankfurt's hiding? I mean,
I don't know, they hide a lot down there, and it's pretty hard to get anything out of them, but we're going to pursue it.
well, the thing about it is, the longer this takes, the more people will move out of Pike County. I spoke here a year ago, about 18 months ago, about the loss of jobs, creation of jobs. Brian Morrison's time, he said, oh, we've got good things happening. Where's your jobs? I mean, people moving out of the business keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Chip, I think the guy that came from Telework said he had 100 jobs open right now. And he's trying to fill them, and they pay around $12 an hour, plus they have health benefits. That's quite a few jobs that we can offer people. And I don't know how he stands now, but he said he'd already hired 102 or 3, and he had 100 more positions. And, that is jobs that we've been able to do in the last year. I noticed the city is getting ready to do a big project up here. We have seen some jobs come available, but not in the coal field. That's what's hurt. We've lost so many coal field jobs that it's hard to get them back. And it's not our fault or anybody's fault or your fault because the coal companies went out of business or just shut down. It was competitive gas that hurt it. And, we're trying to bounce back, and our coal severance and mineral tax is up pretty good this year. So, we're doing better than we have in the past, haven't we, Jonda? As far as receiving the mineral.
Is better. The coal is on track for what's budgeted.
Well, the health insurance, they talked to Brian and the guy from Teleworks. Is that free by saying it's available, or you have to pay for it? We'll give you proof.
I think it's free, Mike. I'm not sure.
That would make a big difference.
I think it's, I think they furnish health insurance with that position.
Big plus for.
Is that right, John? You know?
No, I do not know about the telework.
I don't know, but you know,
Insinuated, but that in itself is really good compensation if you have to pay for it.
but I mean though, when they give them a job, do they pay for it? But Jeannie can give you the number you can call, Billy Carrico, and he told me that they needed several people to work.
But it can be misleading to say health insurance is available when they have to pay it out of their $9, $10 an hour, to whereas it's no charge to them, then that isn't up in what you're
I
receiving.
think he said it's around $12 an hour, but I think that was one of the options that went with the job is the health insurance. I'm not sure, but we can.
It is.
I know I've been myself for 27 years. I was looking to bring the business in, it won't get back. Businesses can't absorb these exorbitant rates. Now, from 2016 to 2017, property tax increase went up 23%. County taxes, 31%. Library, 31%. Building, 26%. Soil conservation, 32%. Pension, 26%. Now, if I was looking to bring a new business in, I'm not going, no way I'm bringing one back. And anybody in their business might look. I just don't know how y'all can justify this. I mean, you know.
We're not justifying it. We're in the same boat you are. We don't like it either, and we're going to try to change it.
You all could have run back to Frankfurt and said, no, we don't want that. This is what we're going for people.
Oh man!
Well, we didn't even know that this was going to happen, sir. This was done in secret. In secret.
In Frankfurt.
In Frankfurt.
And something else I want to correct you. You said you work for Bill Essex. You don't work for Bill Essex. You work for the taxpayer.
That's true. I made a mistake. That's right. I'm employed in his office, and I do work for the taxpayers, and I have worked for them for 30 years. Okay.
But this all come about from the governor, not the court here. We've had to deal with that, and I've never in my business life seen anything like the county's been in here since I took over in 15.
You know, to start with, we had to have an occupational tax. That was going to help get the county out of a bad spot. And
Well,
every way you turn is just tax, tax, tax. The more we can afford it.
Well, we
Chip, occupational tax is been a savior for what we needed, but we're looking at maybe taking that off because our coal servants are up and our minerals up, and I don't think we said we was going to do it last July. It's just how long has it been in effect?
Well, listen, the reason we had to do the occupational tax was the county had no money. You're going to shut the garbage down, everything else down? Well, when you don't have any money to deal with, what are you going to do?
What services, sir, would you like us to start cutting first if we have to?
Are you going to cut your salary like Brian Moore's cut his?
No, I'm not, because I'm worth what the county's going to pay me.
Why do we need an assistant executive?
Because the statute provides for it. Why do we have a vice president?
Floyd County and Johnson County got rid of theirs whenever they
Johnson County's got the commissioner form of government, and they've got a deputy commissioner down there. Floyd County has the same thing. Well, that's right. It's going to be coming in. And if I can, and if...
Where is your company located?
I'm sorry?
Where's your company located?
In Phelps.
Why do you drive with Tennessee tags on your truck?
Because I have a residence in Tennessee.
Well, that's illegal. You're supposed to, if you live in Kentucky, you've got 30 days to change over your tags.
I spend about 70% of my time in Tennessee.
Well, do you vote in Tennessee? Okay, then you may be okay. But, okay?
All right, we'll move on. Commissioner.
Judge, I believe you had another one back there holding his hand up.
Huh?
He doesn't vote in Kentucky.
No.
You all know why Okay.
I'm gonna pay my,
Research.
we're gonna do that. Gotta keep things open. Please, go down there to Frankfurt. These coal companies have got more money than these. Try to get that reversed because 30-some%, that's, in the business world, that doesn't happen. Nobody was sitting at 5, 8, 7%. Somebody was sitting. 30-some%, you all know, you look at your tax. You're gonna pay your tax. A lot of people aren't. They know that's reality.
Well, I think what Herbie's been trying to explain is we are going to get the same amount of money this year to operate the county government as we got last year. Well, you know, that's another thing. But we're not against you people. We're in the same boat you are. And anything that we can do to work together to get this changed, we're going to do it. But, you know, all we ask is try to help. Don't go, you know, we need to work together. If we don't, we ain't gonna never go nowhere. Now, we're not up here to downgrade anybody or talk down to anybody. We're here to listen and try to do what we can to help. But we get accused of everything. And you know,
Money's gotta be there, but also we're in business, and I know if elections don't come in, it doesn't do you no good at all. None, it's not there. So all I'm saying is please, or he said he's going to, and I trust that he will, try to do something to get it on this paper. I'm not saying that it's just unrealistic. These common people that are just working from paycheck to paycheck, all you're going to do is see your AR go up. All from that, they're not going to collect money. They pay 30%. They may pay 10%. They're not going to, they don't have to pay 30%.
I agree. Judge, I believe you had one in the back there that held his hand up.
Yeah, my question and comment kind of goes toward what he's saying. Not up here to difficult, and whatever you guys say, I'm going to have to take it at face value. I don't know. But we elect public officials to be voice. Okay, and this whole assessment of stuff sounds to me like the biggest chunk of the problem at the job. If you guys are not the voice because it's not your place to be, it's down in the ground, whatever it is, I would like to ask if you just direct us, you know, to who that we can speak to, who we can direct you, like we're directing you. There's no reason for us to direct stuff and bombard you guys with stuff, because there's nothing you can do about it. Direct us to who you need to talk to, and who can do something with it. You know, we all have limitations to what we do, you know, and if this is how you're doing inspections, that's great. If you just provide us with who we need to speak with.
Keith, I think.
I'll be glad to give you the name of the Revenue Department, Jay Wallen, and we'll make it available to you. It doesn't hurt to write. Sometimes the squeaking wheel gets the grease, you know. So if I'll make this available, this memorandum available with the formula that they have to anyone that wants a copy.
Where can we pick that up at?
We'll have it made, and we can, I guess.
And we can give you copies of what they did, make them available, and you see the numbers that Herbie was talking about, and maybe Jeannie can make some copies and lay them up here, anybody interested, and take them and look at them and see what we're dealing with.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Well, in 14, I decided I was going fishing. And I ran into one of the, when I was in 03 to 06, I ran into one of the girls in the middle of January that had worked in the money deal. I said, how much money does the county have? She said, the county is broke, got no money, Well, I thought that there was a little money there to manage, and I run and got elected.
The one that just lost.
And since that, I thought, well, I should just quit and let them have it. But I'm not a quitter. And it's the darndest mess I've ever had in my 87 years. We had to pass that 1 penny occupational tax to balance our budget June the 30th. And if you don't have the budget balanced, the state takes over. Instead of a penny, they can raise it 50 cents. Well, in 16, we had to borrow $2.5 million to balance our budget for June the 30th. And when there's no money there, what are you going to do? Shut everything down? I'm doing the best I can, and I've thought a few times about quitting, but I'm not a quitter. I'll do the best I can, and I've managed myself, and I've made a little money in my business that I've been in. But anyway, let's move on. It's time for the commissioners and directors' comments. Jackie Darrell?
Yes, I have. One thing I want to kind of clear up on Danny Branham, my foreman over in District 6. I don't think it was his intentions at all to put that drain in for him to put a gas line through it. He was led to believe that there was water coming off the driveway, and that's the reason he put the drain in. But I've got some good news here, new technology here. As I text the young Tommy May, and I've discussed this with him because he's been a friend of mine, and I hate to do what I had to go up there and dig that ditch, but I can't let friendship stand in my way, and his daddy was a friend much longer. But as I talked to him about it, he agreed there was a ditch there before, and tried to talk to his dad and stepmom on the deal, and it didn't work out in the beginning, but anyway, I went up there and drug the ditch. Well, as he texted me right then, he was trying to call me, and I told him I was in court. He said his daddy had a thought that that ditch would work, and he's seen it won't work now, but what he's done filled back in. And and I think Tommy Jr. helped in this deal. And his daddy has agreed now to remove the dirt in the ditch and clean it out at his own expense. And I got that text right then. So that's a positive.
How about the gas line?
Didn't get no text on that.
Paul, you have any comment?
I'm finished. I want to say one thing. The tax deal that you just talked about, which I've got a lot of properties, and it's increased on me quite a bit too, and we're part of this thing. As Herbie was describing, where they reduced the mined minerals and unmined minerals and so forth, 300-some million, in order to make up that shortfall, it was left up to us other citizens to make that up. And so the problem in this whole deal is where the governing body in Frankfurt, I don't know if the legislature or just the governor, done that deal, it helped those guys but screwed us. So we need to find some way to get this re-corrected, if we can.
Judge, I just want to thank everybody who's on the four-wheeler ride. The men that I had to give their weekends up to come out 3-day weekend, come out and volunteer to help us, and everybody behind the scenes on it. You know, it's just what they put in, the work and stuff they put. I really appreciate it. And when me and Hillman went downstate on the auction there a while back to look for a bucket truck, you know, we couldn't buy one. They just went out. I found one. And the boy done sold one. He's got this other one left, and it's he wants $15,000 for it. I just see if there's any money in we had any money in where to buy this truck. Yeah.
All right, Doug, Bobby.
Judge, I just had one thing. The other day at the landfill, the Division of Air Quality, the inspectors, they showed up and they just about shut us down over there. So we had too much dust and mud there on the road, in which we try to water the road and keep it washed off the best we can. But they held us up quite a while, sitting there taking pictures and things, and I told them that I would address the court about maybe if we could pick up an old pickup truck somewhere or another with a broom on it where we can keep that hill swept from the foot of the hill to up to the landfill where you go into the gate up there. So if the court's got any recommendations on that, I told them I'd run it by the court and see what you all want to do.
Well, have you looked around for a vehicle?
No, I haven't looked for anything. I didn't know, maybe I thought Hillman them might know of something down at the surplus store or something that could get with
Look at the type of sweeper you got first before you pick the pickup, because you know, they got to match.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a sweeper, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
But we do need something with a cab on it. We could use a tractor, we could use a truck or whatever, you know, just as long as it's enclosed cab.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be no real good truck, just something to run up and down the hill there. You know.
I think there's a couple of them brooms bought back a few months ago, wasn't they?
Jackie, did we buy some sweepers?
The brooms, it goes on the front of a truck. He said we bought 3 of them.
Yeah, we got 3, I think it was.
Well, if we
We
can
done
come up
picked
with an
those
old-
up, haven't we?
If we can come up with an old 4-wheel drive truck somewhere to mount.
I don't believe they'll fit a pickup. You gotta put them on a 6-wheeler.
Yeah.
6-wheeler.
I think so. Those particular type, it was what the state had, and you know, you don't see none of them on pickups. You see them all on.
They're pretty good sized broom.
Okay, okay. So we need a 6-wheeler truck then to put one on, or an old farm tractor with a
Or
cab
something.
on
A
it.
tractor, it might go on. I don't know.
The only thing about a tractor, the operator can't stand it. That dust comes right back
I
on
said
it.
there'd be a cab.
Have to be a cab on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enclosed cab. So, is all of our old weed mowers in use, or do we have anything that we could use there? Anybody got anything?
I'm still cutting weeds with mine.
I guess we'll have to look for a 6-wheel truck somewhere then.
Well, you should have one over at Ford Mountain sitting over somewhere. If not, you can buy one down at the surplus. But you gotta have a man to run it.
Well, we can have, we got a fellow there on the landfill that can run it, you know, and keep it swept off. It'd sweep 2 or 3 times a day. But what I was thinking in the back of my mind, will it fit on one of those old mini packers? They have
It might, but you know, they gotta hook up all that hydraulics to where it will work inside the cab.
Okay. But you think we got brooms?
Where's all this mud coming from? From the
Well, some comes from the
Haul road?
landfill. The other day, what the problem was, we was having to haul dirt to the landfill, and it was carrying it down the road before we come out of the holler there and so forth, and we had to put gravel down, which we already had some gravel, but you know, you've all the time carrying mud out. And-
I mean, to where you would have to sweep it 3 or 4 times a day, you gotta have a lot of,
Yeah.
something's bringing a lot of mud out on the road.
Well, they was upset even at the dust itself, and I told them, I said, this winter, we can't put water on that because it'll freeze, you know, and so it's just, all I know to do is sweep it. But I'll look for something, if there's a broom over there, we can have it.
I don't know where they went, but there was 3 magistrates, or 3 of them purchased for the road lots, wasn't they? Frank?
Lot 3 paid for 1, the other 5 split the other 2.
I didn't know I split one.
What it was. Yeah, that's the way it's like. Because he
Where they at?
said he wants his for his road lots, and I charged one of them $2. And then we split the other deal.
I didn't know anything about where they at. Well, you know, if we paid for them, we ought to know where they went. Does anybody know where they're at?
I've seen 1 or 2 over at the maintenance garage.
Huh?
There's 1 or 2 over at the maintenance garage,
Problem.
out back at the maintenance garage.
Judge, we got the HMGP grant for Rocky Court got approved. We're supposed to have an award briefing today, but I don't know if she's made it up here or not.
I knew it was done that.
We'll let the court know.
You have any comment? You have any comments? You want to comment?
Yes, Judge. Wanted to take a few minutes, update everybody with where we are on the Trails project. We did have our ride on Veterans Day. And the first thing we need to do is thank everybody for making the ride a success. Just about every department head here went over and above and beyond to make that ride a reality. Their staff, then the ride couldn't have went off without everybody's help. And you know, sometimes our county employees sort of get the brunt end of the frustration that we see sometimes from the folks out in the county. And I know this court knows better, but we've got some of the hardest working employees of any county east of Frankfort. And they do an enormous, fantastic job with the resources that we give them. And there's a lot of things that we do that we couldn't do otherwise without them. So our hats go off to those guys and gals that makes that possible. A couple of other things I need to share with the court. We have this Trails meeting that we have on the fourth Thursday of every month, and that happens to fall on Thanksgiving here in November. So we're going to cancel our November meeting, and those meetings will resume back in December. And I believe the fourth Thursday of December will be on the 28th. So anybody that wants to come, we meet here in the courthouse. We'll try to do that at 6:30. That's a public meeting. So if anybody has anything they want to discuss on the motorized side, on the non-motorized side, or on the river trail side, that's where you need to show up and have those conversations. I've been in contact with Neil Cornett, who's the chairman of this 21 county coalition. Neil works with Sandy Donahue and Department of Local Government, and they're in the process of formalizing their staff and their plans for that 21 county coalition. So as a county, we're trying to catalog, we're trying to identify where we have properties, work with the different landowners to identify them and be able to get those properties ready to hand off to the State Trails Authority once that State Trails Authority is in place. We talked about creating jobs here today. And I know we're all frustrated with the jobs that we've lost, and we're frustrated that we've not had the ability to create those maybe and replace those jobs as quickly. The tourism side of things, the economic impact of tourism can be significant. This is probably not going to be the bullet, but it's definitely going to be one of the bullets that can help offset a lot of the losses that we've experienced over the past decade. I've asked Tim Cottle to come over. Tim's kind of the counterpart to what I'm doing over in West Virginia. And Tim and I have been kind of working back and forth for several months on the water trails part of the plan. We've got a plan that Summit designed several years ago that talks about the Tug Fork River and creating access. So I would like to take a couple of minutes of my time, sort of hand the ball off to Tim. There's an important series of meetings that will be coming up, and Tim's going to take a couple minutes, hopefully, talk to you all about that, talk to you a little bit about the economic impact of what the motorized trails are doing as well. So Tim, if you don't care, I'll turn the floor over to you for a couple of minutes, and if you don't care, brief the court there on what's coming up.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak here today. I've been working with Jimmy and I'm from Williamson. I was gone for like 22 years and I moved back about 4 years ago. And I started working on economic tourism development as far as ecotourism and utilizing our resources that we already have in place that have minimal capital investment of startup that we already have. So the Hatfield-Mccoy Trail System in Williamson area is very close, within 100 yards of Pike County. We already know that in several locations. They sold over 40,000 permits this year, and they're increasing considerably amount more next year. So what this means for Pike County is an opportunity to get in on this early. It took them 20-some years to get to where they're at. You all are there way faster. Jimmy's doing a great job getting all people together and all the parties. And as far as the non-motorized aspect of it, you have unutilized potential here as far as biking, equestrian with horses, and also the development of lodging. We need lodging. And with the broadband initiative y'all are starting, that's going to keep people in an area longer. Because if you can't get in touch with the world, you're not going to stick around. You're going to go down to the next town. So we bring them here. Yes, they're on an ATV. What else is there to do? You have to increase the amenities that go along with this to complement it. Like it's one bullet, it's going to have to be a 6-shooter, and each one of these bullets is going to target a law in your season. When there's no motorized people there, we have events, we have trails designated just for that. That comes with their own economic impact. The Hatfield-Mccoy Marathon runs in West Virginia and Kentucky, gets credit for both. And it's also recognized as the top 10 race in the South as far as marathons. $2.2 million economic impact, that affects Pikeville. It affects Logan, it affects all the way into Lexington, Kentucky, 1 weekend a year. If you lined them up and had several of these throughout the year, that could help offset your costs that you have right now, the problems with the taxes. Thank you for letting me speak.
All right.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Yeah, you've got the money because we didn't get to do it the last time. Okay.
Paul, that's the one you want. You don't want to go down and look at that other one?
This one here, Hillman, he done sold one that's sold the other, and I've got 2 jobs here at the courthouse.
They sell the one that they just put the motor in?
No, that's the one I'm still gonna buy, the one he rebuilt, you know. 2 mechanics done checked it out, and it's a little big truck, but it's a good truck, yeah.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. All right, we just have to call it a day.